Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Throwing Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 40% alcohol West Indies silver rums, both bottled in the United States. And the first one is called Ronrico, and it's commonly available in Louisiana, I would assume in most states. Caribbean rum. I like the bottle design, label design, silver label. It's got the beach with the walkway, wooden plank walkway over to the cabana. And there's actually, if I could get it close enough, there's people in the cabana drinking. Then they have the Caribbean Sea behind it and a blue sky. And the blue sky continues into the bottleneck, sky blue bottleneck. And there's a crest on the neck, and it has a significance. Okay, if we can get it to focus. This rum was introduced in 1860. Come on, focus. And in the 1890s, the King of Spain gave this a royal designation as a rum of the Spanish grandees, the Spanish nobility. So there it goes, focusing. So you see the Spanish crown and some emblems of the Spanish monarchy, the Bourbon kings of Spain. So ever since they've had that on there. Doesn't mean anything today because Spain lost control of Puerto Rico in 1898, but it shows like I can't make out what that is, really. But it is true. It was established in 1860. I looked at the U.S. trademark information, and the U.S. Trademark Office has the first trademark issued in 1860. But it doesn't say produced in Puerto Rico anymore. If you look at this label, it says distilled at the Cruzan Rum Distillery, United States Virgin Islands, USVI. So something changed. Well, we know, I'll explain what changed. Distilled at the Cruzan Rum Distillery, bottled by Ronrico Rum Company. Not ever was, well, it hadn't been a real rum company for a long time, but Frankfort, Claremont, Kentucky, that should tip you off right there. Bottled in Frankfort, Kentucky or Claremont, Kentucky. And who has, I said Illinois, I was thinking it was that other place in Deerfield, Illinois. We'll fix that. Bottled in Kentucky. Who has distilleries in Claremont and Frankfort, Kentucky? Jim Beam Company, Beam Suntory. So if you look at the bottle carefully, you'll notice it's a Beam bottle. It's the same bottle design as Old Overholt Rye. Same bottle design as Old Grandad and Beam 8-Star. Okay, so that's what it is. Except the Beam's 8-Star and the Old Overhaul use brown bottles, but the same bottle shape. Well, what happened? Well, see, Seagram's bought out. We'll go to the other one first, and then we'll explain that story. Here's Boquerón, introduced in 2016. We know it's Caribbean silver rum, but we don't know where it's made. And although it's probably Puerto Rico because Boquerón Bay is in Puerto Rico, and it's got the B for Boquerón. It's got this rope around the bottleneck, tied off here, very tight, and a wooden cap with a neoprene stopper, rubber stopper. It's bottled in Texas by Iron Horse Ranch and Farm. That's the name of the company that owns this brand, Iron Horse. So it's produced for Iron Horse. They ship it to Texas and it's bottled there, okay? And I got this for the price of $7.99. True story. $7.99 at Rouse. It's hard to believe, huh? But I did. And it was a special deal, limited time deal. And I've learned my lesson on that. If you say I'm gonna get it later, you ain't getting it later. Because next time you go back, it's gonna be all sold out. I learned that the hard way a couple of times, more than a couple of times. But I've learned. If you see the deal, you better jump on it because the deal's not gonna be there. Those bottles aren't gonna last for that kind of price. I mean, it might last a few hours, maybe even a day, but people are going to blow through that. And then you're going to miss your chance. Greg Wick Sorefleet says, morning. Good morning to you, Wick. All right. So the appearance is the same. They're both clear. Now, I didn't pay a lot for the Ronrico. Now, listen, I only paid $9.99 for this. And I think it's still available for that price years later. I don't think the price is going up, even with the JD inflation. So, it's cheaper to get the handle. Now, I could have bought the handle, the big bottles, for $12.99. That's incredibly cheap, right? For a handle of liquor, $12.99. But even though it was much cheaper per ounce to buy the handle, I just didn't know if I was going to like it. That was a dumb idea, right? Because usually they're good. So that's stupid reasoning. And I just didn't want to have so much of it. Once again, kind of ignorant reasoning, because what difference does it make if I have a bunch of it? I'm going to sip through it on taste challenges. It's not like I drank rum other times. I don't drink any liquor at other times. So that's the truth, whether you believe it or not. I do the well, sometimes we do duo reviews of liquor, but that's rare. But I do the solo reviews, and then I do the taste challenges, and that's it. Because people will ask me from time to time, when you get home from work and you relax and watching TV or whatever. Relax and watching TV to me means either the news or a sporting event. I mean, that's just what I do. People always ask me, "You ever seen that movie?" And I say, well, I don't watch movies, generally. So probably haven't seen it, or television shows. So I always hear them talking about stuff, but I never seen it. But they'll ask me, when you're watching shows, like, what do you really like? What liquor do you relax with if you're going to have a cocktail or whatever? Well, I don't drink cocktails, and I don't relax with any liquor. And I'm just telling you the truth. If I did, I wouldn't be trying to hide it. I would just say, yeah, I drink this type of whiskey, whatever. I just don't do it. So if I'm not doing a taste challenge like right now, blind taste test, or if I'm not doing a solo review, simple as that, I'm not drinking any liquor at all. Now those liqueurs, yeah, I'll pour a little bit in the bottom of the coffee cup in the morning, like the Irish cream. And yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna open that bottle of Irish cream and have it set in the fridge for months without touching it so it can go bad. I mean, I'm gonna daily go through it to get it out of here. I don't trust a dairy cream be sitting in the fridge going old. But that's it. True story. So here we go. Beer is my thing. Really. I mean, for lunch, I'll have, like, on my days off for work, I'll have like 2 ounces of wine of any type. Doesn't matter. People always ask me, like, what's your favorite wine? I say, I don't know. Everything. My favorite wine is everything. And the same thing with beer. What's your favorite beer? It's hard to say. I mean, I guess Pliny the Elder, my favorite IPA, but I can't get it. And the price is outrageous, like $9 a bottle. So for those 22-ounce bottles. So I wouldn't buy it regularly because it's too expensive. I love Chimay, but I wouldn't buy it regularly. Add sugar to it. So do you really want to be drinking these sugar products? Yes, I love all of those. But I drank standby beers like Miller High Life, stuff like that. Get a 30-pack for just generalized daily consumption. I went back to Walmart yesterday. I had to get my tires rotated and oil change, and I was, it took over an hour. They go so slow sometimes, but they still did not have Miller High Life 30 packs. And their merchandiser told me last week, oh no, 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 no. We did not cut that out of Walmart. It's still gonna be in Walmart. Never gonna cut that out, those 30 packs. I said, okay, because I was looking in the cooler and I didn't see any tags anymore, and I didn't see any 30 packs. And I went there now a week later, same story. I ain't seen it. That's strange. I mean, when Dixie got 30 packs of Paps too. Mathern's got 30 packs. I would assume Cash Saver does. It's really strange. Okay. Of course, I'm satisfied with the Milwaukee's Best light beer. $19.99 a 30 pack. It's very good. In fact, I would put it up against any other light beer. I'm not talking about European non-adjunct light beers like Heineken Light. No, that's not really a fair comparison. But any other American light beer, mass produced, definitely. Milwaukee's Best can go toe to toe with any of them. Now that's just the truth. That's the truth. Daylight is not really coming. That's the truth, because we're getting further away from June 21st, so the days will get darker. You know that. All right, here we go. Yeah. It smells like it's going to be a dry rum. Put the intensity down a little bit. It's a little too bright. Let's go over here. I know that's Boquerón. And I'm going to tell you, I know why it's Boquerón. Boquerón. The reason I know it's Boquerón is because it's got that sugary, sweet smell. Now, people will say you can't smell sweetness. Okay, fine. I can't smell sweetness. I get that. I'm not a scientist, but I believe it, okay? Put the bottles over here in the background. See, there's Boquerón. And there's Ronrico. Ronrico means rich rum in Spanish, rich rum. Boquerón means anchovy. That's the truth. But I could smell that sugarcane juice. Smell like sugar cream. I mean, sugar cane has an aroma. It's not a neutral smell. So maybe you can't smell sweetness, but you can smell things that cause sweetness, right? Open a bag of sugar. You smell it. Okay, has an aroma. So this smells like real deeply fermented, you know what I mean? Like totally fermented sugarcane. There's no sweetness left. And you can get a little bit of that pungent note like the yeast. So it's not totally clean. I guess it's not designed to be. They don't want it to be neutral like vodka. You may as well buy vodka, right? But some of these rums are so neutral, and so finely filtered. They're distilled and then they're so carefully filtered that they almost like a sugarcane vodka. And there is a sugarcane vodka from Mexico that I saw at International Market. And I never had such a thing in my life. And somebody told me that is the worst stuff in the world. I was thinking, how could it be bad? You know, but it's called Lucas Soft or this, I don't know. It was $7.99 for a whole handle. I saw that. I said, woof. Of course, it makes you tempted to buy it, right? Like when I'm finished with my doggone Nikolai, it's almost like, should I buy it and try it? Could be exotic. It's a fancy word for bad sometimes, but yeah, I think you want to give rum a little character. You don't want to just be like vodka. Vodka can be made from anything. Grain, grapes, sugar, potatoes, potato vodka like you get from Eastern Europe. Walmart sell potato vodka. Never had it. Heard it's good. So if you ever hear somebody call whiskey brown, like Canadian whiskey or American blended whiskey brown vodka, those people, they're being flipped and trying to denigrate the product. Okay, well, denigrate the product if it's no good. Fine, I got no problem with that. But it's not brown vodka. Okay, now it might be brown because they're adding caramel color. A lot of liquor does that. But vodka is not the same as grain neutral spirits. It is a type of grain neutral spirit. That would be grain vodka, like Smirnoff, world's most famous vodka. But it's not the same. And if you think it's the same, that shows that you need to do some more learning. Instead of posting and making smart comments, because you want to show everybody how smart you are, how about you learn a little bit more, and then you could really show people how smart you are. Because when that comment is made, that's showing a deficit in knowledge. They're related, but they're not the same. It would be like somebody saying, well, English and British, it's the same thing. Well, it's not the same thing. Although they're related. Tequila and mezcal, not the same thing. Although it depends how you look at it, that they are the same thing. But I don't have time to explain that. And some people know what I'm talking about. But just to summarize that, if you've had mezcal, you may not have ever had tequila. So you may have had mezcal in your life, but have never tried tequila. But if you've tried tequila, you've tried mezcal, okay? Get it? If you've tried tequila, you've tried mezcal. So anybody that tells you, I never tried mezcal, just ask them, you ever had tequila? Well, yeah. Okay, well, then you've had mezcal. Okay, got it. All right. We won't go into that. Okay, so, and a lot of people think tequila has the worm in it. They'll say, man, we were drinking tequila and it had a worm in the bottle. Well, okay, then you weren't drinking tequila. Sorry, unless somebody went and put a worm in it, which is a larva, a caterpillar. No, you weren't drinking tequila. Nope. Because tequila is not allowed to have that. Not allowed. Not gonna happen. Not gonna die. Not gonna die. Not gonna die. Okay, this John Schmidt says, is mezcal the same as tequila? No. No, but they're related. Okay, like I was talking about English and British. Not the same thing, but they're in the same ballpark. All right, like literally in the same ballpark. Okay, this has a nice mellow sweetness to it. Nice mellow sweetness, but it is overall dry. Overall, it's dry. Now, Beam Suntory, I don't even think they list this. Let's see, Beam. Yep, here we go. Oh, they ask your year of birth every time. It's like, can't you remember this? And it'll say, remember me. Okay, well, then remember me. What's the problem? I just put in a date. It wasn't even my actual date, but it's not a lie because it's not important. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a wall, a age gate, whatever. You know, a child could type in there, make up, or actually that would be the lie because they're pretending they're older. Oh yeah, the only rum they list is Cruzan. But they own a lot more than Cruzan, so they used to list it all, but they don't no more. Irritating. Suntory whiskey, yeah. Like that stuff. Beam Suntory India. Beam Suntory Germany. Oh, they got some separate websites. Wouldn't mind looking at that one day. Don't have time now. But, just got here. What one has a worm in it? Mezcal. Okay. if they choose to put the worm. Most don't. Um, this is a little bit more. It's more sugary. I'm not saying this is way more sugary, but it is more sugary. Okay, so you may prefer a more sugary sweet rum, and in that case, you would prefer the Boquerón. Now, $2 price difference. Oh, is this correct? Is this the Boquerón? I'm saying it's the Boquerón. It is. It is. It is. Got it right. Only got it wrong one time. One time I got it wrong, and why? I argued with my own decision. I had it right, and then I started saying, "Well, maybe that's not it." And nope, that was it, dummy. So I've been perfect every time except for that one incident where I started to question my own choice. And anytime you do that, you're going to oftentimes, not anytime you do it, but usually when you do that, you're going to be wrong. Okay. It's like a subconscious thing telling you, you got it. You say, oh no, who we got? Sigmund Freud, the whiskey rum taster now? Yeah, Sigmund Freud. Yeah, that's me. Okay. $2 difference. Is the Ronrico worth the extra $2? Hard to say, but I think I'll give it the advantage. Yes, I think ultimately it is a little bit better. It's just something about it. It's hard to describe. Like what makes it better? The answer. What makes it better? My response. I'm not sure what it is. It's just there, like you know it. Is brandy the same as Hennessy? Do they have similar taste? Hennessy is a brandy, yes. A cognac brandy. Cognac is a type of brandy, so yes, Hennessy is a brandy. If you say I love Hennessy, well then that means you love at least one type of brandy. All right, you may not love them all. You may not even love them in general, but you love it in particular. Hennessy is probably the world's most popular brandy, right? The world's. I didn't say United States. That might be uh, Paul Masson or E&J VS, right? Okay, let's see. Let's see what Ronrico's selling for this day and age. Would never buy it again, I guess. Yeah, why would I buy it again? I got other rums I want to check out. Can't just keep revisiting things. Ronrico. Not available here. I don't know why, because it's available at all the stores. Yeah, it only went up $1. $13.99 for the silver. See what I'm saying? $15.99 for the gold. I don't know why it's $2 more for the gold. Maybe gold takes longer to make. Pensacola, Florida. You crazy? All right. This rum is selected from the finest rums available in the Caribbean. It has an authentic dry taste. That's true. Now, they're right about that. It is pretty dry. With a versatility in how it mixes smoothly in all classic rum drinks, and it is delicious straight. It is delicious straight. And I'm sure Total Wine didn't write that up. I'm sure that was a sell sheet they got from Beam Suntory. But I was talking about the history earlier, and I forgot to follow up on that. Huh. The finest rums available, but it's $15.99 for a handle. Yeah, something doesn't add up about that, right? But maybe it's true, but it seems bizarre. I forgot to talk about this. Ronrico was introduced in 1860, and then somewhere along the line, it came under the control of Seagram's. Like so did a whole lot of other dozens of other liquor companies, right? So Seagram's made them an offer they could not refuse, and it became a Seagram's brand. They probably took over the distillery also over there in Puerto Rico. Okay, fine, everything's fine. You saw a lot of advertisements for Ronrico in the 1960s and 70s. Not too much in the 80s. maybe in the early 80s. But then by the late 80s, you didn't see any advertisements for Ronrico. And a whole lot of other Seagram's brands you didn't see ads for. Why is that? Well, because Seagram's began to slip and start to go downhill. And so they started to sell off their brands, trying to bring in some, they needed some cash flow, I guess. They sold a whole bunch of brands, 14 of them, to Sazerac in 1989. Maybe some facilities too. Yeah, like the one in Lewiston, Maine. Big bottling plant there. And also, I think they blend stuff there. But that didn't really help. So then in 1994, they sold off a bunch of other brands. And I think this was one of the ones that went to Beam Suntory, Ronrico. So it went from having its squared off bottle, all of a sudden it had a generalized Jim Beam bottle. Yeah, because I'm talking about Beam Sun, not the Jim Beam bourbon bottle, but the standard Beam bottle that they use for all their other brands, like I've said, old Granddad, old Overhaul, and all that. So then that's what happened. So it went from Seagram's, it went from some independent company, which I don't know what the history of that is, to Seagram's for the longest time, probably 100 years. Then over to, or close to 100 years, and then over to Beam, Jim Beam Company, who got bought out by Suntory. So I guess technically it's had 4 owners, right? The original company, well, maybe they had different independent companies in Puerto Rico owning it. I don't know. Seagram's, Beam, and now Beam Suntory, who bought Jim Beam. I don't know if we count that as 2 owners or the same company. I remember old Seagram's 7 commercials from the 70s, but not TV commercials, because remember, liquor was not allowed on television until less than 20 years ago. But they had advertisements. If you're talking about magazine ads, yes, of course. They still run Seagram's ads in magazine. It's strange, like hardly anybody reads magazines anymore, but they still publish them, the paper ones. And but you see Seagram's ads quite often on the internet. They'll pop up, say Seagram's 7. Some people say they still make that. I said, do they make it? It's one of the top 10 selling whiskeys in America. I think it's in the top 5 still. For good or ill, whether you like it or not, that's between you and yourself and that. But it is still very popular. All right. So Ronrico is the winner. Not by a lot, but $2. Yeah, I would say it's a $2 advantage. Whoops. I hope not hit the camera. And next, tomorrow we'll do planning on Wednesday to do Ronrico. But no, Ronrico's retired for the next go round. Till the next go round. Ronrico versus, can't get it right. Boquerón versus Palo Viejo. Another one that's obviously under the Beam Suntory umbrella today, because it got the same bottle. And it's bottled in Deerfield, Illinois, which is one of their bottling plants. So, I don't know if they own the distillery now. That could be different. It might just be something where they got to deal with the distillery in Puerto Rico. That could be very possible. That they don't own the actual company, but they may as well own it because, right, they control the importation into the United States. But they may not control it for export to other countries, where if it even is exported to other countries, Palo Viejo. But it's definitely big in Puerto Rico. If you go to Puerto Rico, people told me, oh yeah, everybody got that. It's everywhere. It's like an inexpensive brand, kind of like, normal, cheapo brand like Miller High Life, something like that, But it's real popular, they said down there. Oh, you could have sworn. Yeah, no, they weren't on television, no. Not in the United States. Now, in Australia, Canada, or whatever, yeah, that didn't have that rule. That was a United States rule. Can't apply to other countries. But there were no liquor ads ever allowed on television or radio until around 2005, something like that. Supreme Court case. The Supreme Court was like, well, you can't just arbitrarily say, well, yeah, you can have beer commercials, but you can't have liquor commercials. I mean, there's no point to it. Like the rule doesn't have any sense. It just like violates. Of course, you can't rely on the Supreme Court usually for making good decisions. I get that, but that was a good decision. Even a broken clock will be right twice a day. So, yeah, that was one of those rarities where they actually made the right decision. And so now we started having liquor ads on TV in America. Like I said, it could have been in France, England, Australia, Canada, but they never had that rule. Must have been an international video. I saw it on YouTube a while ago. Yeah, it probably was. Might have been a Canadian video. Probably was. And if you lived in Detroit, you could pick up Canadian channels on the antenna. So for all practical purposes, they did have liquor commercials on American television. If you live close to Canada on the border, you know, pick up that TV station. So, of course, in Louisiana, that wasn't an option. The only brandy I had was VSOP from Sazerac. Talking about Sazerac. Which VSOP? There's no brandy called Sazerac brandy. There's no such thing as Sazerac brandy. There's Sazerac cognac. But that's like $150 a bottle. Yeah. Well, Matherns has it, but I didn't buy it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Y'all take care now. Dubon. Oh, one of their brands. Oh, yeah. They make a lot of brands. They just got different names, you know. Hartley. Hervé. Dubon. I never heard of that one, but they probably got 25 brands I haven't heard of. Sazerac's got so many brands out there. It's unreal. It's humbling.